Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers, sovereign thinkers. This is the LL3 Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy Mangrove, South Florida. And today's date is Monday, October 7th, 2019. So, doing a few topics, which is interesting here. Yeah, a little bit mellowed, relaxed, and all that. Plus, I'm at Stash, located at 109 Southwest 2nd Avenue in the heart of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, adjacent with Revolution Live and America's Backyard. Pretty quiet, but usually certain nights they'll come here. Nice little crowd. Good to hang out. Tell them I sent you. If you're in the South Florida area, of course. Alright, we're going to do something interesting here, and a few articles I'm going to be addressing. This one, look, you say my pet peeve, and when it comes to privacy rights and all that, and this one came from thegunwriter.com. It's about Florida carry. Charlotte County Sheriff illegally obtained gun owners' personal information in violation of state law. And as it reads here, Florida Carry, of course. Florida Carry Inc., the state's largest and most effective gun rights organization, in a letter to Attorney General Ashley Moody, is demanding statewide investigation into law enforcement's illegal abuse, misuse, and general operation of the Finder database, including the compilation of lists of gun owners and illegal retention of records. There are felonies being committed by the Charlotte County Sheriff and possibly by other sheriffs throughout the state, said Sean Carana, founder and executive director of Florida Carry Inc. Charlotte County Sheriff Bill Prummel did not return calls or emails seeking comment for the story. Created in response to the 9/11 attacks, the Finder database allows law enforcement agencies to house and share low-level intelligence data over a secure statewide network when allowed by law. Can we all say God bless the Patriot Act, folks? Yeah, think about that, all right? The data includes persons, vehicles, and pawn shop information, including personal information about gun owners who have pawned firearms. However, the personal information of gun owners is not shareable through the database because keeping the list of firearms is extremely forbidden by Florida statute. Yeah, that's why they call it a right of privacy. You know, and you got these clowns from every town and Mom Demand Action and the people that want to petition on banning semi-automatic weapons in the Florida Constitutional Amendment, but it's looking for the law enforcement to have it, want to invade that. So a lot of double standards like this people. So I'm not going to rant, but I'm just giving you my intake on this so far. So we'll continue on here. I printed everything up, so bear with me. I'm not on my laptop, just on my cell phone. And it says here, no governmental agency or local government, special district, or other political subdivision or official agent or employee of such state or other governmental entity or any other person, public or private, shall knowingly and willfully keep or cause to be kept any list or record of registry of the privately owned firearms or any list or registry of the owners of those firearms. Florida Statute 790.335. Okay, so I'm going to continue on here. Finder has a control button for sharing information with other agencies. This function has been disabled for firearms data. Carana explained he has also provided copies of several emails Sheriff Prummel had sent that contained this sensitive gun owner data. And also it says here, what they're doing is sending the data to an internal email, then using the email to send to their other agencies, like third party, you could say, right? Carana said they are bypassing the legal safety protocols built into Finder. According to Florida Carry's letter, They first made the Attorney General aware of their concerns about the Finder database in February through an email sent to Chief Deputy Attorney General John Gard. Eric Friday, Florida Carriers General Counsel, wrote that he spoke with Gard and told him of ongoing violation of Section 790.335 Florida statute by the Sheriff of Charlotte County, as well in his concerns that other sheriffs around the state might be in the violation of that statute. So technically, according to them, the sheriff is actually breaching Article 2, Section 5 of the Florida Constitution. But I will continue on here. On February 27, 2009, I sent Mr. Gard an email to follow up our conversation. In my email, I provided evidence that the Charlotte County Sheriff was in violation of Section 790.335. The email indeed a request that all 67 sheriff's offices in the state be investigated to determine if they are maintaining similar records in violation of state law. Friday wrote, Mr. Gard had later notified that the FDLE would be investigating the issue. I never received my response from the FDLE through April 29, 2019. Remember, it's government. They want to do turtle pace, okay? But when you want to go on somebody, you want that lightning bolt. It's a lot of double standards, of course. So, as I continue, in May, Friday received a notice that the state attorney for the 20th Judicial District, which includes Charlotte County, had investigated a similar complaint against County Sheriff and determined that there was no wrongdoing by the sheriff. This investigation was conducted by Assistant Attorney Anthony Konazik, who heads the Special Prosecutions Unit of the 20th Circuit. On May 7th, Friday emailed Okay, sorry about that. On May 7th, Friday emailed ASA Konazik detailing exact violations of the law that were occurring. 1. The use of the Finder program to provide law enforcement with personally identifying information of any person who pawned as a firearm. 2. The use of Finder program for purposes other than those provided for by law. 3. Data mining the Finder database to create lists of firearm owners who had sold or pawned a firearm. 4. The list of firearms owners being emailed to avoid the automatic deletion of information required by the terms of Florida law. 5. The searchability of old records that have been illegally preserved to determine whether as individual owned or had previously owned a firearm. And 6. The fact that Finder program should not have as a capability of or requirement the transmission of personally identifying information to local law enforcement. Konazik again took no action. The fact that Mr. Konazik could reach such an opinion when the evidence and law laid out for him demonstrates the necessity that these violations be investigated by an independent prosecutor. Friday wrote, one who has not beholden to local law enforcement and will not be required to work with the local department is breaking the law on an ongoing basis. That's a quote. Friday spelled out that it is Florida Carrier's opinion that the pawn shop information is being used to obtain personal information on Florida gun owners, which violates state law. He also pointed out that the data is being retained beyond the time allowed by law. The rights of gun owners not to be on government registrations list is clear in Chapter 790 Florida statutes. Despite those protections, it appears that at least one sheriff's office is violating those rights and being protected by the local SAO, Friday wrote. SAO, Friday wrote, Florida Carrier expects that the Attorney General of Florida will faithfully execute and enforce the laws of Florida regardless who is breaking them. We call on you to launch an immediate investigation of these lawbreakers regardless of their positions of power. Out of an email he wrote, And I have to agree. Remember, you got to fight tyranny, my friends. Because they have a badge and they're elected doesn't mean they're exceptional. They got to go by those laws like everybody else. That's why it's more of a privacy concern. Okay? And that's one thing really drives me up the wall. That's how I look at permits as well. Because you have to be fingerprinted and all that, but you're still in the databases. Bottom line is this. It affects one particular group, and you ignore it. It becomes a ripple effect. Be going in your realm. It doesn't matter if you own a firearm or not. This is very concerning. Because if you let this go, you can be next. You don't complain to me when that time comes. Because I believe all 67 counties should be investigated on this. Because sometimes foul play and tyranny does come around. That's what government can do. They assume that they're above everybody. You got rogue elements. Just to be more clarification, more clarity. And you know what? I say this. Start get bonding, start networking with other private citizens around that area. It would probably bear off doing a little loaning. Okay? That would be one good thing. Everyone wants to do things by the book. But remember, your right of privacy is by the book. So, enough of that. I like to see Florida carry get what they want, and I recommend everyone out there, especially in Florida, to call out these people as well. Alright, this one here just came out from Variety.com, and other sites have it as well. Facebook to pay $40 million to settle claims it inflated video viewing date. Facebook has admitted. You know who wrote this? Excuse me. It came out today. It's by Todd Spangler. Spangler? Yeah, Spangler. As it reads here, Facebook has admitted it overstated video viewing metrics over an 18-month period from 2015 to 2016 and was promptly hit with lawsuits from advertisers claiming they overpaid for video ads based on that inflated data. Now the social media giant agreed to settle a class action lawsuit under it, which will fork over $40 million to advertisers claiming they overpaid for Facebook ads because of the inaccurate data, even though Facebook has continued to claim the lawsuit was without merit. This proposed class action lawsuit began in October 2016 when two overlapping lawsuits were filed against Facebook. Those were subsequently consolidated and combined with other complaints. Attorneys representing the plaintiffs said they plan to file a motion requesting that they receive 30% of the settlement fund, $12 million, as well as reimbursements of their approximate $730,000 in expenses incurred during the 3-year period litigating the case. According to the attorney for the plaintiffs, the settlement provides up to 40% of the estimated $100 million affected advertisers may realistically have been able to recover had they won the case in court. At the core of the dispute was Facebook's method used to calculate video viewing time. The company long had a policy not to count video views that lasted than 3 seconds. However, by discarding shorter video views, the company has also arrived at the higher average watch times. And the lawsuit alleged that this allowed the company to inflate average watch metrics up by up to 900%. Facebook in 2016 said it changed the average watch time metric methodology to include all videos. While the overestimated figures didn't directly affect how much advertisers pay for video ads, advertisers argue that inflated member numbers led them to believe those were performing better than they actually were. Plaintiffs alleged the metrics indirectly impacted. Billing, all else being equal, advertisers are likely to pay more for video ads that are being watched longer, according to the proposed settlement. Parties eligible to participate in the class settlement include all U.S. advertisers who purchase video ads on Facebook-owned platforms from February 12, 2015 to September 23, 2016. The motion for the court to approve the settlement was filed October 4th in the District Court, the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California in Oakland. Well. Interesting there. Now, always gotta be careful. Sometimes what they got them on was breach of contract. It's gonna be done in good faith. So I just posted on my Facebook page as well, including Twitter, on this matter. As just to say the beginning about the beginning of steps that they're doing and that they can get away with it. So it's one of the things I have to say. Hey, do it right, or not do it at all. All right. Well, I'm gonna do one more here, my friends. I know it's pretty short, but it's in that time, that mood I'm in. And this one came from antiwar.com. Came out today as well. It says here, do not succumb to political censorship on Syria. And it says here, dear editors at Science and Global Security. Science and Global Security, or SGS, have been publishing technical articles on arms control and related issues since 1989. I urge you not to succumb to political censorship. Recently, it was announced that you are withholding publication of an article titled Computational Forensic Analysis for the chemical weapons attack at Khan Shaykhun on 4th April 2017. The article presents evidence that a crater in the road in the town of Khan Shaykhun, Syria, could have been caused by improvised rocket-propelled artillery round with a high explosive warhead rather than the aerial bomb dropped by a Syrian plane. The paper was authored by 7 scientists from prominent universities and laboratories in the U.S. and China and based on advanced modeling techniques and computer simulations. According to the article, scientists clashed over paper that questioned Syrian government's role in the sarin attack. A campaign to stop you from publishing the analysis was launched by Gregory Combinus. He's a political scientist, not an engineer or physical scientist. His criticism of the article is because of the conclusion. As it reads here, the political bias of Combinus is clear from his article titled Syria's Chemical Weapons Killed Chain. It accuses the Syrian government of using chemical weapons and speculates on the chain of command. It distorts the findings of the UN report on the attack of August 21st, 2013. Actually, the UN-led investigator Aki Selstrom suggested that it was a fair guess that the rockets carrying the sarin traveled 2 kilometers. This would have put the launch firmly in opposition-held territory, directly contradicting Combinus' assertions that the Syrian government was to blame. Facts and investigations. You may not be aware of the following acts. Here's one here. The report of the Joint Investigative Mechanism was not definitely about the crater. On page 7, which is 33, it says, the mechanism assessed that the crater was most probably caused by a heavy object traveling at a high rate of velocity, such as an aero bomb with small explosive charge. The mechanism also examined whether the IED could have caused the crater. While this possibly could not be completed and ruled out, the experts assessed that the scenario was less likely. This second one here. Some of the most proven investigative journalists have concluded that the incident was staged by the opposition. For example, the late Robert Parry, who was on with Consortium News, by the way, wrote an article titled, "Did Al-Qaeda Dupe Trump on a Syrian Attack?" He noted that buried deep inside a new UN report is... Sorry about that. Alright, where are you here? He noted that the buried deep in a UN report is evidence that could exonerate the Syrian government in April 4th, sarin atrocity. As Parry wrote, more than 100 patients would appear to have been exposed to sarin before the alleged warplane could have dropped the alleged bomb and the victims could be evacuated. A finding that alone would have destroyed the JIM's case against the Syrian government, but the JIM seemed more interested in burying this evidence of Al-Qaeda staging the incident. Here's the third one. Seymour Hersh is another proven journalist. His research confirmed that no chemical bomb was used at the Khan Sheikhoun. The Russians had even informed the U.S. military ahead of time that they would be bombing an important meeting of groups that even the U.S. defined as terrorists. Hersh's conclusions are outlined in the articles Hersh's New Syria Revelations Buried from View. Fourth, yet another proven journalist, Garth Porter, did a detailed investigation including confidential interviews with scientists with close ties to the OPCW. His in-depth report is titled, "We Have Been Deceived Over Syrian Sarin Gas Attack, Scrutinizing the Evidence." Among many points, he debunks the notion that the crater could have caused by a chemical weapons bomb, which is designed to release chemicals and not burn them in a large explosion. 5. Finally, yet another proven journalist, Robert Fisk, has written about bias at the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, which is OPCW. 1 year after the incident at the Khan Sheikhoun, another chemical weapons incident happened in Syria. In his article, "The Evidence We Were Never Meant to See About the Dama Gas Attack," Robert Fisk reports there has emerged disturbing evidence that this is the final report on the alleged use of chemical weapons by the Syrian regime in the city of Dalma last year. The OPCW deliberately concealed from both the public and the press the existence of a dissenting 15-page assessment of 2 cylinders which has supposedly contained molecule chlorine. The OPCW officially maintains that these canisters were probably dropped by a dissenting assessment, which the OPCW made no reference to its published conclusions, finds that there is a higher probability that both cylinders were manually placed at those 2 locations rather than being delivered from aircraft. It is difficult to underestimate the seriousness of this manipulative act by the OPCW. Interesting there. So a lot of are saying guys are a sham. That's saying we're calling you out. So it says here why CGS should publish the article. On the CGS website, you question the value of the publishing the article, given the sensitive and contested issue of the use of the chemicals in Syria. That's precisely the reason that you should publish the article, to be relevant and contribute to important public debate. Global security is being threatened by claims and counterclaims about weapons of mass destruction. The 2003 invasion of Iraq was based on such claims. The intelligence community was certain but wrong. Now, in Syria, there are similar claims and counterclaims. 2 nuclear-armed countries, the U.S. and Russia, are involved. The U.S. has already attacked Syria on the basis of media reports to the approval of people like Gregory Kolbanet. The pattern of aggression on the basis of dubious or false evidence is very dangerous and could lead to much greater conflict. Political censorship does not serve science or global security. And you can publish the article. Yes, it was done by Rick Sterling, who is a journalist based in the San Francisco Bay Area. You contact him at rsterling1@gmail.com. I have to agree. Facts have to be addressed. The propaganda machine has to be diffused. It's been going on for such a long time, and one of the areas I despise is imperialism. I question these things multiple times, and most of the time I'm correct in these areas. No expert, but this has to have the truth. You have to look at all sides of the story, not just what they want you to know. Yes, so censorship on this matter needs to be condemned politically. And you know what? Observe responsibly, folks. That's what I do. Everything I can. Best I can. Alright? So, that is it. I thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or you're something that's interesting, alright, whatever you do, please address your correspondence with decorum. In addition, I'll leave the titles, the footnotes on here, and you can find out where it's at. Until I'm fully operative, I'm not making excuses. It'll be lackadaisical in a few things, but I will just tell you find out the websites and all that. You can see it for yourselves, okay? Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love. May your guardian spirits be with you.